Hello, hello.
Hey guys, welcome to our Wednesday night live stream here in Amazon Reseller Academy. Today we have a special guest, one of our original members. You joined pretty quick, Cassie, and I remember I met you on TikTok, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought that you were, so I remember you're asking me questions and good questions, by the way, and it helped Jonathan and I. It's like, hey, we need to add this into the course, and you're asking about ungating, I believe it was.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And after I answered a couple questions and you came into the group and right away we had maybe less than a dozen at the time, I think, when you joined, and there was no engagement. And it's a small group. I think right now we're only up to what, mid upper 20s right now, but still. When you came to the group, you brought engagement. You're asking questions, and Jonathan are like, yes, this is what we're wanting, because we knew for sure, being taking action is the step that most people don't take. And
Right.
so we knew you were going to be an action taker. Well, guys, so we got Cassie here with us today. She is a member of our Quick Start course, and she's going to share her journey. If you're on with us now live, say hello so we know that you're here. We don't see your names. We don't know who's watching with us, just that we have a handful on. If you come back and you're watching the replay, put replay in the comments so we know who's coming back, who's watching, who's getting value. Are these helpful or not? Where are you at in your journey? Ask questions away. We are going to sit here and talk to Cassie and ask her questions. Hey, Sharon, how are you doing? AJ's on with us. Oh my goodness, AJ, shouldn't you be asleep or just wake up?
AJ's on our team. Yeah.
Phil, what's going on, Phil? Phil's on with us too.
AJ is the complete opposite hours of us. She's
Yes. I think you add an hour and go 12 hours up. I think, is that how it is? Something like that. So
yeah, I think
so. I guess it's morning time for. All right, we got a good showing tonight.
Got a couple on. Look at you. Everybody knows Cassie, I guess. Look at this.
Oh, she woke up early for this. See, okay, Cassie, you drawn some interest there, Cassie.
You
Nervous.
No, not at all. Not at all. We're all a family, that's for sure. Definitely all a family. We get that's and that's kind of how I've seen our conversations go whenever we chat on Facebook and in Messenger. When we've done any private chatting, it's very friendly. I love it. It's good conversation, and I get value out of it just as much as you do. As I know,
I'm glad we have that atmosphere with our group, and that's in a lot of groups too. I mean, I talk about that a lot. The Amazon community as a whole is a good group. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have your outliers, of course, but for the most part, people wanting to help people, and
Right.
I learned that real quick about networking.
What I've noticed in those other groups, real quick, just to touch on that, those really huge groups, you might not really get as much value if you follow those really, really large groups, because you see a lot of the negativity that rolls in too.
Right.
You see all the gripe fest, So the more people there are, the more people that talk like that. So, just getting into the smaller groups where you could sit there and go back and forth with someone, the same people all the time, and get to know them. And I like that better. I find more value in that for sure.
Draw for me to your course.
Yeah.
Well, we brought up how you found us, TikTok.
TikTok.
If Cassie, if you don't mind sharing, I mean, kind of what was going on at the time. I mean, how did you learn about Amazon? Why did you decide you wanted to do Amazon? I just kind of go through that.
Yeah, so I am 53 years old. I'm a speech pathologist by trade. I do that all day, every day. And I was looking for a side hustle because we were empty nesters, and I was trying to fight off that, empty nester depression. And, just coming home every night, sitting on the couch. Next thing you know, 2 hours have passed. You're watching TikTok, and I just Todd kept showing up on my 45. And so I thought, years ago, I did eBay, and I loved it. My husband would say, "Don't stand still, kids. You're going to be on eBay." Everything. and I just really enjoyed that. So I knew that I would probably enjoy Amazon, but it's a daunting task getting started. It's not as easy as eBay was back in the day. So
The whole world of its own.
it is. It
It
is.
has its
So,
own language.
mhm.
Really does. Yeah.
And to be honest, before I'm just remembering this, before I met Todd, really the whole conversation started. My son is a musician, and my husband and I go to all his shows, and he's always needing cables and guitar picks and things like that. And so our main goal was, okay, we're going to sell music equipment on Amazon.
Mhm.
So we started off thinking that we were going to go that route. And I quickly learned that that was really not easy.
It's not that easy on Amazon. You can't take the same mentality of eBay and
No,
the garage sale, type
right.
mentality, selling out of your house type mentality, and put it onto Amazon. I mean, there are ways to kind of do that with used stuff and used books, and we talk about that.
Yeah.
Different things, but selling new items, it's a whole different thing.
It really is. And I was going, down the rabbit hole of getting samples from, different companies of cables and picks, and the cost was astronomical when it really came down to it. And so I was getting discouraged. I thought, well, maybe this isn't, what we can do. And then I kept hearing about FBA, and I thought, well, I'm a shopper. I love a good bargain. I love to dig at Ross and Marshall's. And so next thing I knew, I had found a bargain, and I started scanning. And once I started scanning, I never quit.
What were you scanning with?
At the time, I was just using the Amazon app.
Okay.
Which, I had Keepa separately in a separate app. But, definitely SellerAmp was a game changer for me.
Yeah, it's really good. And I mean,
changed.
I almost want, like, people coming into the quick start, I almost want to require that because I mean, or at least an app that has similar features. There are some out there that have similar features. Now, for the price, you're not really going to find many. I haven't really seen any that compare for the price for as much information as you actually get.
I agree
with using SellerAmp. And I mean, the way that and you'll see the people that are in Quick Start now after our interview, we'll jump over there, and I'm going to take a deep dive into some scans. And so it's really beneficial to have that app, especially if you want to work with us and our mentorship. It's just going to all make sense and click better, if you have that app. And it's cheap. It really is. As far as tools go, it's like the cheapest, the cheapest tools you can get. So
I agree.
Yeah. So you were scanning with that. So you already had that before you found us?
I think I did. Yes. Okay. I think I had the app, but because actually I had to, because I was reaching out to Todd about ungating. I was just hitting a wall at every turn with needing to be ungated. And I was so unsure about how to do that. And so, but once I got on a roll with getting ungated, I was able to really make some traction.
Yeah. That's that new seller syndrome you get into with the ungating and all the roadblocks for not being able to sell brands and different categories, things like that. So how'd you push through that mentally? Like, you just kept going and just faced it and head on battle?
I hit a few things that worked, and so I just kept going. Yeah. I kept hearing the advice of keep scanning, we'll find something. Yeah. And sure enough, I did. Yeah.
And did you notice with yours, once you started getting ungated and certain ones, it would kind of open up the opportunity? It seemed easier for, your percentage went up of ones that you would get auto approval for?
Absolutely. especially now, it seems like I'm ungated pretty easily. Knock on wood.
Yeah, and your account's pretty active, so yeah, we discussed that a little bit, and we'll go into that some more.
Sure.
But that helps, other than getting ungated and more, the more you sell and the more good sales you have. Now, it's not just the more you sell, it's the more you sell that end up being good for the customers. So if you're getting a lot of sales, but you're getting bad reviews and you're getting a bunch of returns, things like that, then no, you're not going to see that same value, that same percentage jump of being ungated easier in brands. All that works together.
It does.
And we have to remember, Amazon, they're not really what you think they are. They're a tech company. Amazon is a tech company. And so they run off algorithms. They run off all of the codes. And everything goes back to what's best for the customer. What's going to be best for that customer and keep them coming back to the platform. And if you get in the way, then they do not care about you at all.
Exactly.
So, yeah, as long as people keep that in mind and it's their world, we're just living in it, feeding off it, So it's the best platform in the world by far. Best platform, number one. And all the eyeballs go to it. So if you can manage the jungle that it is, then it's definitely worth it. and you got to think too, if you're willing to go that extra mile that you've done, you go that extra mile and you're leaving the competition behind. Every extra step you take that you find difficult, that you actually get through and you accomplish, then you just left a percentage of people behind you that quit at that point. And competition's lessening the further you get along because you know more. You know how to, pigeonhole yourself over here away from all of this competition. You know where to look on the listings and how to find that info. And
it takes time. I've not been at it a year, and I learn something new every single day.
Yeah. Did we say when you actually started? I know we talked about beforehand, but on the live here for everybody else.
March of 2023.
And when did you sell your first item?
I guess probably the very end of March of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. So, and that was FBA, right? So within a month, okay.
Actually, no, it was seller fulfilled. It was merchant fulfilled.
Your first item?
My first item.
That's when you realized you didn't like MF?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember some questions coming up about that early on. Yeah.
Oh, I made some mistakes too. Oh my goodness.
Well, you have to be precise. You really do. And mainly you have to get everything done on time. If it's not on time, then you lose all of your credibility when that item doesn't show up or it shows up damaged. If you didn't do your part in the beginning, how Amazon said to do it, you're eating the cost of all that.
Exactly.
And it goes towards your seller metrics too. So, yeah.
We learned that the hard way, didn't we, John?
We've made our mistakes for sure. That's why we have the confidence to tell other people how certain things go. And you've seen it. You've been in it long enough. I mean, no matter what mentors out there, that no one knows it all. No one. Right. We have our own mentors that we used, and we still like to follow and see them and what they're doing. And I mean, even them, they ask questions to their groups, about stuff. So they have most of the answers. They have a lot of great answers, but not all the answers.
There's not a perfect manual out there for this business. It's just so many moving pieces and a lot of people helping each other for sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey, Imani's on with us.
Hey. So
Roxy, yeah.
So you went through, you were scanning some and you weren't really doing much with it. You were kind of learning and it was hard to get through. the whole ungating process, and then you found us through Todd on TikTok.
Was I the
And
first one on TikTok you
I
reached
think
out to?
I think I just you were the one that I felt like I could relate to, and I thought I think he'll answer my question, and you
Oh,
answered almost immediately,
yeah,
and I
appreciate
was like, okay. So when you offered your course, it was a no brainer.
yeah.
We were going through that the course members the other day, and the majority of them, I think, was Jonathan, right? They came through TikTok,
It
and
seems like TikTok is.
very appreciative of that. It's yeah, I never thought, yeah, it still seems weird that I have a TikTok channel. I have a
Yeah.
TikTok channel, so if you're not on it, if you're on TikTok, make sure y'all subscribe or follow or however it goes.
Yeah. All right. So you're doing all that. March comes along, and then you ended up finding us. And
Yes.
now, had you sent anything in before you went through our quick start course?
I don't think so. I think I prepared my first box after watching the video. Um, on the quick start. Um,
Was that
so
your favorite part? Was that your favorite part of the video?
watch,
Was the
yes,
prepping, the packing,
that
and shipping?
that's the type of learner I am, and to see it really helped.
Yeah.
It really did.
That's the thing. That's what I was hung up on the most when we first started. You know, I learned about Amazon FBA in 2014, and I didn't send my first shipment off to 2015 because I couldn't wrap my brain around. You know,
Yeah,
how do you label it? How do they know it's mine? Am I going to lose it? Where do I know to send it to, et cetera? And that was a big reason why we wanted to put that course together. So
yeah,
awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome.
That coupled with teaching people that there's data within products that you have to look at to make sure that it's going to be your chances of selling it faster for profit are higher.
right,
There's no guarantees. So, but your informed decisions are keeping your percentage of good buys higher than your percentage of bad buys. You're always going to have bad buys. It just happens. So
right,
it's to everybody. And you have methods as you grow to deal with that stuff, So there's always something you can do to combat something else.
right.
But so that was your favorite part. And so was that the clicking point right there? Like,
When I
I
sent,
saw that and I'm ready.
yeah, when I sent that first box and something actually sold, I was hooked.
Yeah.
How long after it checked in did something sell?
Oh, it wasn't that long. It happened pretty fast, which was good. And so I was ready to start that next box and get it in. And before I knew it, I was really hustling.
That's
And
awesome.
so yeah, and it was good for mental health, physical health. I wasn't on the couch. I was out. I'd leave work, and where am I going to go this evening to source? And I would tell myself, you can't source every night because that's, of course, my favorite part. So I would try to limit myself to 3 nights a week, and of course Saturdays are my favorite. So
Yeah.
I live in a
part.
fairly small town, so it's not like I have more than one Ross or more than one Marshalls. Very limited.
Yeah.
So
On my route, I'm in the DFW area,
yeah,
North Texas, and I mean, I think my largest list of Rosses that I would source from were somewhere around 30.
oh,
And that was
so
just
jealous.
that's just what I could rotate. There's more, within my driving distance. Because I
Yeah,
mean, if I have, let's say I have up to a 2 hour driving distance, right? But I didn't, it's hour and a half, maybe, especially if I get into traffic, it might be that kind of stuff. But I try to keep it even shorter, driving distances. But I mean, I could spread close to 50 Rosses. I think if I went 2 hours, there's a ton. And there's a
yeah,
lot less TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Burlington, but Ross, that's the,
yeah.
it's like
That's my favorite
CVS.
too.
like Walgreens and CVS. There's one everywhere.
Well, I
Yes,
mean, if you don't mind, sharing some of that information, so Ross is your favorite.
it is. It
Is
is.
there a close second or third, or?
Probably maybe Burlington. I don't like their tags. I don't like to take
Yeah,
their.
they're hard to deal with. They're vicious too because if you try to take Burlington tags off, they'll rip everything underneath the
That.
tag. That glue is serious business. It
Mhm.
really is. I haven't I
One
haven't
day
really found a
that heat gun, like y'all show on the video.
uh-huh.
I'm still
Yeah.
using a hair dryer.
Yeah, the hair dryer works, the heat
Hair
gun.
dryer works, but we upgraded to this heat gun.
That.
Hey, if you're gonna use a heat gun, you better be careful. That thing gets hot fast, and
Yeah.
if your hand is around that metal end anywhere close, then you can get burned. So if you're gonna use a heat gun, that's we really use that when you're processing a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and you've got a table, you've got a workspace that you work out of, and it's safe to use those things. But
Right.
be careful if you go to
Okay.
use some serious
There's
tools.
a demonstration of it in the course.
Uh-huh.
That's what.
I had to throw that in there. Hey, Laura. Laura just joined us.
All right.
Hey,
Well,
yeah, that's awesome.
and another little disclaimer here of a tool that we use, the Scotty peeler. If
Yes.
you're using a Scotty peeler, they're sharp on all three sides and they're extremely sharp. So if you are peeling with a Scotty peeler, peel slowly and away from you. Always. I promise I've cut myself not doing that, and very easy, very fast. You don't even know you're cut, and next thing you know, oh my goodness, what did I do? I didn't do it. This
We like the metal ones. Yeah, we mean business. We like those metal ones.
Yeah,
Plastic
we use
not
them.
so bad. We start with plastic.
Uh-huh. And you have to be careful using those too, not to rip through your packaging or your
Exactly.
tag, because they are sharp. I mean, they make for quick work when you get used to using that stuff. But if not, be careful, be safe, and don't hurt yourself.
So with Ross and Burlington being 1 and 2, I mean, is it safe to say you like shoes and clothing categories?
I have really, I've not been successful with clothing.
No.
And I think because I know how I am, and I'm a returner, and I don't like that about myself, but I know how I am with clothing, and I've really steered away from that. And my niche has really become toys.
Toys?
Yes. I started off for beauty. I have just, I'm pretty much toys.
Okay, so you know about our $500 challenge that we were just launching, right?
Yeah.
That? Okay, so we're taking the $500 of our own and going to spend it. And now I am doing that by myself. I'm having a little bit difficulty tracking myself sourcing, I've got tidbits and things, but I plan to go through here in the room here and go through those items and really show them well outside of the store as well. But I like health and beauty and active wear and swimsuit. Those are my favorite things to source right there. So it's been quite some time since I've jumped into the new seller world and had to go and look through kitchen, home goods, toys, things like that. What I found, funny you say toys, my first $400 of that $500 challenge, really, I didn't plan on spending that much on toys, right? That's what I found first. And I found a little bit in the clearance, but these are the regular priced items that I'm finding that there's profit in the toy sections. Walmart and Target is where I was focusing on.
I like you guys because I was strictly going to clearance. I was never looking elsewhere. And I learned really quickly that you're right.
Yeah.
You do not need to stay in the clearance.
Now in the beginning, when you were having trouble with the ungating and being blocked from so much, where did you find your success in the beginning there? What kind of items, what kind of categories were you finding success in?
Pretty much still, that was mostly toys.
Still toys. Okay.
I had kind of set a goal in my mind, like I had certain categories I really wanted to get ungated in for Q4.
Yeah.
I was always in preparation for Q4 once I got on the toy, train. So Target was really good to me for ungate. I didn't have a lot of luck with other stores, but Target almost always
Now,
worked.
did with your Target ungating, now, were you always able to get 10 of the item?
Oh man, that is so stressful because, I would order 10 and 9 would be available,
Mhm.
and so I started, making sure that I ordered more than 10, first of all. Maybe I would only get 10. And I would also try to do a variation, like 5 of this item, 7 of this item, in that same category.
Okay. So you were mixing two different products to total your 10.
Right.
Okay. And they were accepting that for you.
So I might buy 3 of this set, 3 of this set,
As long as it was in that same brand, you were
Yes.
okay.
Any trouble.
See, I'm learning something from you right now because the word on the street is you have to have 10, right? You have to have 10 of the same item, right? And so now I've heard of other people, but I've never tried it myself. So you're a real person in front of me that I'm talking to in real time that is telling me that has worked for them. That's important right there. That is so much more important than it's a mind-blowing thing because
Well, good. I'm glad.
I can't tell you in these groups, there's so much bad information out there. And like I said, the bigger the groups, the more bad information you got to filter through. And so you have people say, well, I got ungated with only getting 6 items from this store. So what are you talking about? And then you have 30 people come in and say, oh, well, that's wrong. You're lying. That's never going to be able. I don't know what you're trying to tell people. All that mess. But man, proof is right there. That's real. So now, from now on, I can go even further and say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about when you tell people that, because I try to defend people. I'm in there talking to people in different groups and different things and trying to stir things up and help people, all that pro bono stuff you do,
And that it's all about the algorithm. I would love to know how the ungating works because there were times I would submit an invoice and literally in 30 seconds, I would get an email that says, congratulations, you're ungated. I'm like, there's no way a human had time to.
No, they use bots. That's for sure. Amazon uses bots for a lot of things like opening cases to handle this or that or customer response stuff.
Yes.
And it's even more so in this last year since AI has really jumped up even more. They're using it a lot, and that's why it's frustrating. Sometimes you can't get things you need done with Amazon, and you have to open cases over and over to get a new person or get you actually try to get a real person and get lucky. It's almost playing roulette,
It really is. It really is. And I really was banging my head against the wall for a little while because I kept getting a message that I thought they were telling me to open a new case. And then I'd open a new case and I'd get a message that says, we're closing this because you already have a case open.
Yeah. It can be frustrating,
Yeah.
And the more you sell, the more that stuff happens, the more stuff you have to deal with,
Right.
And that's another reason we like FBA because that lessens the stuff you have to deal with.
Yes.
Because once if you're going to treat this as a hobby and keep it small, that's one thing. But if you're going to really escalate this and give it a shot to take over some of your financial burdens or maybe put a savings plan together, a retirement plan together, something. If you're trying to scale it to do that, then you got to look into how can I save my time and my energy into the stuff that's going to grow my business and not just keep me where I'm at, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
there's plenty more to learn if you want to take it, the more levels you want to take it up, there's plenty more to learn. And just another reason why being a part of a group is so valuable to me. I mean, you get
Absolutely.
somewhere to go for those questions, those tough questions that might take you 3 hours to search out online, or never. You spent 10 hours searching on something and you never figured it out.
Right. I
So,
appreciate you guys so much. There would be times I would be in the store and I would shoot you a message, and before I could check out, you had responded.
yeah.
And I can tell you how helpful that was,
Hmm. Yeah,
because you saved me some money.
it really is. And
That's awesome.
the more this kind of sounds backwards, but the more people that we do get involved into the group, the more attentive I can be, because that means we need to put more attention right here to this group. There's more activity. It's just going to naturally take more of my day to be in there. And that's even better when people are out in stores and they're asking questions right there, because I am on it. There's been a few messages where it's been a little bit since I got back too, but for the most part, I do try to stay on top of those sourcing questions, especially because I do know that you're out there, and you can always private message me as well. That's if you need something more immediate, I'm gonna see that faster on a private message and Facebook Messenger, as opposed to in the group itself. So that's word for anyone out there that's needing a quicker response. I'll see Messenger faster. When it comes to
And we also
sourcing.
like posting it in the group too, though, because if you have that question, others are going to have that same question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but that definitely another option. Man, we're already at 33 minutes. I told you we could talk.
Yes.
We can talk. So
Well,
I
we're
think
all
we've only
three
asked
from
you like,
Texas, so
I
we
think we've
talk.
only asked you like 2 questions, maybe.
Oh, sorry.
No. So we
We're
found
good on time. We're good on time if you are.
we
If
found
y'all are
what you
just joining
like.
us live, we got Cassie with us. Cassie's a member of our Quick Start community. She was one of our original members back in March. Started selling in March. I don't have any questions come across here. We're asking her questions, but if y'all have any questions who are watching, just put them in the comments below, and we'll get to it as long as you have time, Cassie.
Sure.
Did you now starting off? So you started in March, sold your first item into March, got your first shipment off. How fast after you got the course did you get your first shipment off?
Just a few weeks.
Okay, a
Yeah.
few weeks.
Uh-huh.
Now, did you do? Did you have a okay budget to start off with? A high budget? Do you mind sharing a little bit of that, or?
No, I don't mind. Like I said, I'm a shopper, and so I told myself, okay, typically you would be spending this $300 on yourself. This month, let's try to put that into FBA and see what we can do. And so I pretty much started with $300,
Okay.
and like I said, it was mostly health and beauty at that point, maybe a couple of toys. It was a Mod Podge in that box. And
Mhm.
it took a few months before I realized, wait a minute, I keep going back to toys. That's really working for me. Especially Legos, boy.
So the
People
health
love
and beauty though, yeah, Legos for sure when you find those on sale. And when Target does the buy one, get one half off and things like
Yeah.
that. You find the ones that are marked down and you get that extra the deals like that. You say health and beauty helped you out in the beginning. Now, did you go through any of the ungating process for health and beauty or did you get
Actually,
some auto approvals?
I had an auto approval in Cetaphil.
Cetaphil?
That's what I started off with, and I went through my first fumble was the ounces. I sent off too large, and and anyway, I've made that right. I had to replace that for some customers, and then I had some where the packaging, the nozzle was not secure enough, and so some come back to me like that. But finally got my footing on how to package it, how to bubble wrap, when to bubble wrap. And, I was able to make some traction.
Okay.
That's
Now,
really good.
what kind? So you had your budget. That's a good starting budget to see if you like it and you enjoy it. Can you figure it out? Is it something you want to do? Did you have like some goals in mind, some targets?
I did. Well, at the time, just watching that little, the app with all your sales, I thought if I could ever get to $1,000, oh my goodness, I'll be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, I was at $1,000. And so if I could get to 5, if I could get to 10, by the time Q4 came around, I was like, forget this. I want to make 50,000, and, sure enough, before December, I hit 50,000 and was so excited. And I thought, and my husband was too, like every day, it was just like, I sold this many things today. I sold this much. And
that's so awesome.
He is absolutely not a shopper. And
addicting once you start doing that, though.
I would say, okay, you're going to be in what town? I need you to go in all the stores.
I love that.
He's selfies holding the product he found, and so now I haven't got him to scan yet. He doesn't scan, but he will go find the items in other towns for me.
Does he like tools? Get him a ring scanner and make it fun.
I would love that.
Get a ring scanner. Yeah, that makes it a little more interesting. So.
Philip's on with us right now. Hey, Phil, what's going on? I'm sorry, Cassie. What were you saying?
I also did books. Thinking of scanning, I did a lot of
books or new books or
mostly used, but I did a lot of my textbooks from college and my daughter's textbooks. So that got me started. And, I scanned everything in my house that I could get my hands on
That's awesome.
That's a good idea.
Awesome. Yeah. Philip asked if you're set up as a LLC or not, or
I am only set up as a sole proprietor at this moment. I am looking into switching to an LLC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's smart because I didn't realize it would take off like it did, and because I really did start it as more of a hobby.
Yeah.
And it kind of
so you started with that 300, and so were you just rolling everything back in? Were you keeping a little for yourself, or?
Pretty much rolling it back in until probably about 4 months in, I was able to start putting some in savings and just pulling, a little at a time.
4 months in, how much were you up to inventory level wise then?
Probably active inventory, maybe 250 items, 250 items.
250 items. Do you know the dollar, the cost, of your inventory?
Oh, not total, not right now.
Okay, I don't know if you had an average of, you said you started with $300 and you kept rolling, and I was just curious on, what you got that level to. But were you like doubling it? I'm sorry, what?
Probably, I see what you're asking now. Yeah, probably I was, by the time I hit 50,000, I had probably invested about 24.
Okay. Yeah. But okay, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So you
doing it right?
50,000 before December.
Right.
So after December, the year to date, March to December, do you mind sharing what you ended up doing for the year?
69,000.
69,000. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's really good.
I really want to get 100,000 next year.
That's
like for the year to date, 100,000.
Yeah.
So,
I think you could do better.
If you started on a run like this,
we're gonna push you.
We're gonna push you to get a little more than that. No, we know you do work. This is secondary for you right now, but
yeah, absolutely.
If you get pushed to a level to where you're not spending too much more time, you're getting even more efficient, and you're profiting, and it's working, and it's something at that point to really take a look at and say, hey,
yes,
how much, if I put this much time into it, what could I do?
Exactly.
So it gives you options, and that's what you need. You need
You
options.
know, going to work a little bit easier knowing you have those options too.
Right. Yeah. Talking about your husband, he's not the shop. I'm not a shopper either, but I can source all the time. It's like treasure hunting. It's
Exactly.
it's addictive. I can absolutely. So let's recap for everybody. Carrie said that's awesome. Hey, Carrie, glad that you're on. So you started with $300. You kept rolling it over until you got to a certain point. Then you started adding in more.
Mm-hmm.
Did 50 from March through November, did 50,000. March through the end of the year, 69,000. That is incredible, guys. The reason I just keep repeating that is I want you to see the possibilities with this business model. It's not only is it fun, there's a lot of opportunity here. You got to get past, and you heard Cassie say, she was frustrated in the beginning, just like we all get. Everything's gated, everything's restricted, things weren't coming up, and she worked through that. And so the first thing is you got to decide you want to do it. Then you got to take action. A lot of people don't even take action, but once you take that action, then you got to push through the frustrations, and that's what gets the people that don't quit. Once they the ones that actually take action, most of them quit because they can't break through that barrier right there. And the ones that do, Sharon said, congratulations. Carrie said,
Thank you.
Carrie says she thinks she can do 200,000 next year. I don't disagree with her. I don't. This is something. This is exciting. I mean, just hearing your story and
I love it. It's good
that we could be a part of that. I mean, we had no idea. We talked to you a little bit before the meeting. I mean, we talked to you in the group all the time, but as far as here in Zoom, we signed on a little early, and we're like, hey, how much did you end up doing this year? And we were like, what? That's amazing.
Yeah, we had no idea at that point. We didn't know your level. I mean, we knew how active you seemed,
Yes.
and how much we've discussed. We didn't know your results before just now. So, and that was pleasant to hear, because I mean, it just does. It solidifies that we're doing the right thing. We're spending our time on the right things that can take someone from very fresh point A to point B, C, D, all the way through. So
You guys,
what'd you say?
you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you. I honestly didn't hear you. I wasn't trying to get you to repeat that. So,
right. We're gonna clip that. What'd you say?
What'd you say again? No, man. Just and what a wonderful feeling it is knowing that the Quick Start Course helped you do that. I mean, that's wow. It just blows my mind right now. So we still got a handful of people on here, and the ones that have been talking on here, Sharon, Carrie, and Phil, and they're active. They're wanting to get started. Phil is started. Phil's one of our original members too, and I met Phil on TikTok also. What would you say? These guys here watching, they're considering, they're wanting to jump in. Maybe they're just a little bit hesitant. Maybe they've already started, and they're hitting those roadblocks too. I mean, what recommendations? What kind of Jonathan, what word I'm looking for? Tips can you give them to encourage them to go?
I would say, first and foremost, get Seller Amp. It's worth it. $19 a month. It's worth it. Take your course. Get Seller Amp. Take your course and scan. Do not stop scanning. Scan, and you will be amazed at what you can find.
Yeah, and you can't stop at the first store. That doesn't mean scan at one store and then judge it. That means, like, how many stores did you go to in the beginning? Like, I mean, you don't have a lot to choose from, but
I would drive out of town sometimes just to do it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's so hard. You try to start making things look good because you don't want to leave a store with nothing, but sometimes you have to.
That's a good point.
This $500 challenge that I'm doing right now, I left 2 stores. I didn't like it. I'm not liking it, and I don't want to spend all day, but because now with me, I'm trying to show value to everyone and where you can hit, what you can do. And I can't, if I'm a new seller though, completely, I would be staying at that store and scanning through the stuff and just doing it, getting used to it. You have to. That's part of it. You gotta go through that little hard knock there in the beginning and, earn it like everyone else does.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
the
You have to.
best way to put it. You
It's a
earn it.
rite of passage.
There you go. Right there. And it is frustrating, and you can vent in the group about it because
Yeah.
you know exactly what you mean.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I still get stumped, that's and getting out of my element because for years now I've been focused on going a certain direction and honing in on what I like and what I know sounds good. And we are ungated in a lot of stuff. And so I have a wide variety to choose from. And so I get locked into, okay, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. And I leave all that other. And everyone ends up doing that. You end up finding your way and what you like. And then everything else is kind of, oh yeah, let them have it. I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm over here.
Exactly.
Like you need clearance in the beginning. You need the clearance sections, but later on, you really don't want to mess with that. If you know where you can go to buy nice, fresh, good, everything's pretty, brand.
Yes. Without sticker tags on them.
Yeah, even that. Yeah. When you
Well,
get
now
into
that
stores.
now that I know that you like toys, I got some recommendations for you too. I'll share.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, toys.
I Walmart's my favorite place to shop, and I like the
Mhm.
toy section. I do. I love the toy section. So
I'm glad you said that
we
because
appreciate. Go
I
ahead,
needed
John.
that. I needed that confirmation that me jumping back out there in that world right now, that this isn't just me. That's mostly toys are what's popping. So this is good. It's not just me.
Yeah.
Being January though, it's really important. Look at the sales history though, being January, because how much of that stuff's inflated still from Q4. A lot of it.
Yeah.
But some of it's justified. Some of it will continue to go because they're hard to find. They're hard to find toys. Some of them won't, and you just have to be able to see that and recognize that. And if it does drop, does the point that it dropped to, is it still profitable? And if it is, then okay, you're still looking at a good winner. We were, when you were going through your steps, what you would recommend to a new seller, you said get Seller Amp, get our course. I didn't ask you to throw that in there, and I appreciate it.
No, you did not.
Scan. Someone considering our course, they're on the fence. What can you say about the course and after you bought the course, ongoing support? Would you care to kind of go through your journey with that?
Absolutely. Yes. I was amazed that for that price, I could get information from two guys, not just one, but two guys that were so seasoned in this business, and then the ongoing support. I couldn't believe, wait, I get to stay in this group and I still get to message you guys. Where else can you private message someone when you're in a store and they will message you back? It was unheard of to me in this day and age to find real people just like me, just a real person, to communicate with. It's amazing. And I appreciate you guys.
No, we appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're one of our first members, so.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
You're etched in as the family members. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's really good to hear, for sure. And so I know you said that you like the prep, pack, and ship part. That really got you going there.
Yes.
If you had to choose another part of the course, what would be another valuable part to you?
Probably learning how to scan and read the Keepa chart. That is still a struggle for me. It's just looks like another language when I look at it. I'm not in business, that's not my forte. And so I appreciated, the down to earth explanations on how to look at that.
That's good.
You
And
know,
now,
we've made quite a few updates since you bought that course too.
that's what I was just about to ask.
I'm sorry, Jonathan.
No, sorry.
No.
That's,
Go,
we're
go with
right
your
on the
thought. Yeah,
same
right there.
page there. I was wondering when you very first got in, we were really supporting Scan Power more than Seller Amp for scanning. It's
Used
more
it for 6
expensive.
years.
Yeah. I mean, I love Scan Power to scan with. It's a great app. It's more expensive. It's going to cost you about $100 a month, but
Yeah.
it has other features, but really Seller App kind of shows you more data than the other one,
Well, I loved that it had to keep the information right there. I didn't have to go back and forth, and I really.
So since you probably went through it in the beginning, in the very start, have you went back through and seen any of the updated stuff since I changed it to Seller Amp?
He put you on the spot.
No, I have not. I need to.
So there's a deep dive in there of a scan on Seller Amp, and I go through all of the stuff that you are looking at on your scan.
I will go back.
Yes, because that's an additive. And that's another thing. Once you get the course, you're always entitled to the updates. You have it forever. So anything that's updated, anything that changes, if there's software that we all were using and loving, but something's changed about it, now we don't like it. And what are we going to move to? And we put that in the course now. And then you get an update. Hey, check this out. This is what everyone's using now. So those are ongoing benefits right there.
Since we're on that topic, Jonathan, Laura just put, hey, Laura, she just put, that's what she's scared of, is learning how to read the data.
Well, it's a new language. It really is. It's like, you're learning Amazon language. it's
And I'll be the first to tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Feel the same way. I feel the same way. I can do it. Do it, Laura.
I'm not tech savvy. And
math is not my subject.
Well,
that's why we use the tools. That's why we use the tools to figure it out for us.
Sharon says she's going to Target. Any recommendations at Target?
Check those toys section in Target.
Yes.
For sure. I tend to I tend to find more in the characters, like action figures and the cars, not all the little, not when me personally, I don't look through the 1,000 Hot Wheel cars that you see thrown into the bin.
I do.
Or whatever he does. But I look at the cars that are hanging up that I can see, okay, these are on sale. These are cheaper than these over here. Let me see which ones are cheaper first. And then that'll kind of, if I can find cheaper that's selling for higher, I want to do that. Then I go through and look for the things that are more than $5, to purchase. With toys, you definitely Target. Some are different. You got to check the clearance. They'll be on the end caps a lot of times. They'll section the clearance out over there, and sometimes the prices aren't correct. So you might want to check and recheck your pricing either at a register or scan it under one of the kiosk things that they have. You can also use your phone, the Target app, but that's not always correct either. It's better to check with who you're about to buy it from. But no, with toys, the action figures, the cars, Legos, if you can find Legos on sale, always check through that stuff. And remember, with toys, it's easy prep. It's, there's not a lot that goes into shipping that stuff and getting it ready. So, a smaller profit isn't always as bad on toys that you can just put a sticker on and throw in a box and send off really fast. So keep that in mind with toys as well. I tend to try to buy things that are light, not your big bulky stuff that's going to cost more in shipping, things like that. If you find something good that's just killer profit, and but I'm trying to avoid that bulky shipping stuff if I can, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Cassie? You've been jumping into the toys. Any advice?
Definitely, I like the lightweight. I do not want anything heavy and bulky. And And I try to do exactly what you said. Look for the cheaper that I can maybe buy, several that I know are going to sell.
Yeah.
I never go real deep in anything. I've heard you say before, go wide, not deep.
No, yeah, that's right.
You're building that net. You're building that net and studying. Are you using, since you brought that up, well, are you using any type of inventory software?
I am not. I'm thinking about Seller Board. I've heard some good things about it to help keep up with my books and things like that. But at this point, I'm not using anything.
Yeah, we hear a lot of good things about Seller Board. Also, we've been using the Inventory Lab since day one, and we do all of our shipments. Well, in the course, we show how to run shipments through Inventory Lab. That's one question. Jonathan was reaching out to those guys. Hey, are you going to incorporate where you can create your shipments through? But
yeah,
because that's big for us. We also want something that'll read to our repricer, because we don't want to have to double do anything. We want to try to streamline as much as we can.
I have not invested in is repricer. I heard you say that it's really an invaluable tool.
Yeah. That's crazy. You did $69,000 with no repricer. Oh my goodness.
Were you manually repricing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you did.
Think of how much time it takes you to manually reprice, and how many times a day do you do it? Because to be successful, and you probably need to do it about 3 times a day, probably.
Yeah, and it would be very random, not a lot of purpose behind it. But I did notice, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but once you reprice, all of a sudden, sometimes a penny, I would reprice it down a penny, and it would, I don't know if it bumps it.
Mm-hmm. You can go up a penny. Yeah, you can go up a penny, go up 20 cents, and it'll just pop you into the buy box for whatever reason. Yeah.
I never thought about going up. I always went down.
Profits. We're all about profits.
That's an oscillating strategy right there.
Okay.
And so even if you have the buy box, and say you're the only one, or you have a few people on there, and it's worth testing your limits of pricing down, then pricing back, see how far you can go back up. And just what we found is movement alone almost brings attention to it on Amazon.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah. Going back to manually repricing, let's just say it takes you just 10 minutes, which I know it's. How many SKUs do you have?
To date, about 485.
485 SKUs. All right,
take you longer than
30 minutes. Probably going to take you 30 minutes. So let's say you do that 3 times a day. There's an hour and a half a day times 30 days a month. I don't know how many that is, Jonathan. It was that 30. It's 45 hours a month.
Too much?
Yeah.
45 hours a month, and you can get a repricer. Ours is $100. We really like Aura, but you can there's some other ones out there for $50 a month. But
depends on where you want to put. You want to put your effort into your time, or put your time into that, or you want to pay somebody to do that for you.
It's next on the list. I think that might be my next move.
Yeah, when you're getting up to the level you are, it starts to. That's where you'd start thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to Inventory Lab, we do all of our shipments through Inventory Lab. It puts all of our pricing. Where did we get the item? Our supplier, the date that we got it. We create all of our SKUs in there, and we do our SKUs so that we can track our items also. And it automatically feeds into our repricer. And our repricer it's got automation rules set in place for different categories and whatnot, and it just streamlines it. Just streamlines it. You're probably at that level. We need to talk. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
Well, we've taken up an hour of your time, Cassie. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I got back on the subject of Target. One of my best finds I ever bought was at Target. It was I'll give you all a tip, guys, if you're still watching. Pay attention to what's hot, like on Nickelodeon, on Netflix, anything that's streaming that's really hot, and look for items that go along with that. Monopoly board. When Stranger Things first came out, they came out with a Monopoly board, and I got like 50 of them, and they all sold the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Sold in one day.
Yeah.
And I was kicking myself because I said, man, I should have held out for a little bit higher of a price. I didn't think they'd all go in one day. And it
in
was
one
crazy.
day.
One day.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
And,
amazing.
when people talk about Q4, they're thinking, okay, October, November, December, right? It's from Black Friday to a couple days before Christmas.
Mhm.
That's where Q4 is, and it's during that 5 to 6 week period that you can do about 3 months worth of business. It's just if you have gift type items. I mean,
Yeah.
if gift type items,
Toys
you're
are
still
great.
going to see a good, huh?
That's why toys are so great. You know?
Yeah, toys, socks. Socks are great.
Socks.
Um,
I do sell socks.
yeah, socks are great. Underwear, gift type high robes. You talked about when you brought up Ross and Burlington. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, you're heavy into shoes and clothes, and Ross is one of my favorite places to source toys. They got some great options there on toys. You get the biggest struggle there is how well is the packaging. A lot of it gets eaten up,
Oh.
and it sucks when you find something awesome and the packaging.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was like, I had to train myself to quit scanning stuff with bad packaging because
Yes.
Another tip when you're discounts. That's my playground. Discount stores right there. Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. If you find now, of course, they don't all carry the same things. But if you do find some good items, you better remember them, and you better look for them in every one you go into. If you're able to go into more than one, then and you're able to get into a bunch of those stores, then always remember your good ones and make sure you don't miss one because they can be there, especially with toys. Some, this location might get one, and this location got 10, and then this location over here got 5, but you might find them all in the same one. All the same items in several different locations. So I would say that is more apparent in TJ Maxx and Marshalls than Ross. I would put my money there as finding repeats, but you can find them in Ross too, especially in toys. So
they do Marshalls and TJ Maxx during Q4 during that season. They'll do like a gift set robe and gown. Those are really good too, man. Those we sold a lot of those.
I'll have that next year.
Yeah, those were good. And going back to the theme toys, Jonathan, you remember when Blaze came out on Nickelodeon?
yeah,
Well, oh my goodness, we sold so many of those Blaze trucks.
yeah, little
like
monster
$4 selling for 20. The little monster, yeah.
Yeah, and you find the ones that like there's a section of different cars from a TV show, like that one, Blaze. And what is the name of that? And the Monster Machines, I think, or whatever it was called. You look which one just has which characters there are only one or two of. Well, let me check those. The ones that have like 10 of them, 10 of those characters, those are probably, it's worth checking for sure, but a lot of times those are the ones that people aren't really wanting. You're looking in the back and, hey, where are the ones that got misplaced? Where are the ones that other resellers have come through and tried to stash? And
yes.
That's a great tip. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Jonathan gave a big tip there. If y'all are paying attention, that was a huge tip. We'll use Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures for an example. The Donatellos, Leonardos, don't even scan them. Look for the villains. All of it, because there's only one or two per box. When Walmart gets a shipment of those things, there's only a couple of each villains in there, the bad guys. And so those are the ones that you won't be scanning. And use that method. Yeah, it works really well. You can use that for the WWE figures, for the Ninja figures, for Jurassic.
I was shocked at wrestling figures how profitable they can be.
Yeah.
I just ran into some. Let's see, where are they? There's some right here that's part of the $500 challenge. So these guys I found, I think they were regularly about $20, and I found them right around $6 each.
What?
Yeah, I got a few different ones to try out, and there was one that was better than the others. So I got like 4 of those, I think, 4 or 5 of them, and then the other ones I got 1 each, and I'll try those and see if because they seem to sell, just not in a high volume as that one character. So yeah, that's some wrestling. There's a
Carrie says we got her excited now. She's gonna used to make good money on eBay flipping the kids' old toy. Yeah.
That's where I started years ago. Started on eBay.
We do some eBay. We got a love-hate relationship with eBay. I mean, it's the stuff that didn't sell at Amazon. So, we got it.
We mainly use it for liquidation nowadays.
Yeah.
We're not buying to sell on eBay. If we did, that'd be another ball game right there. But
all right. Well, Cassie, again, thank you so much for your time. Let's recap a little bit on. We brought up the Quick Start course. We brought up the challenge that Jonathan's talking about, guys. What we're doing is we try to make this as affordable as possible, but at the same time value our time as well. Right. But we saw a need for this with a lot of misinformation that's out there in YouTube, TikTok, etc. And Jonathan and I, we said, look, let's offer this help for others. And so we set the price at $47 for this Quick Start. It's $47, and you got lifetime access to it. Any updates, you're going to get it to it. You're also going to get access to our Facebook group. Now, our founding members are in there. They're our founding members. After 30 days of being in our Facebook, if you think it's valuable enough, then it's going to be a monthly subscription to you. We try to keep it as small, as valuable as possible. It's $30. But you got 30 days to try it out. Now, within that 30 days, we're doing like workshops or challenges. Right now, we're doing a challenge where we're going out doing what's in the workshop, right? Going out spending $500 and showing you what we get. We are not the most tech savvy individuals, so we're struggling kind of putting this together right now. What can we do live? What can we record and then kind of edit and put together? And we're very fortunate. We have AJ on our team, and she is our editor wizard, and Jonathan's pretty good at some of this stuff too. And so when we're done with this challenge, what you're going to have is, Jonathan sourcing $500. Where did he go? What did he buy? Showing you receipts. How do we take pictures of the receipts? Are you taking pictures of receipts, Cassie?
I am.
Awesome. That'll protect you for IP complaints and authenticities. If someone returns the wrong item, they do a switcheroo. You have pictures.
If Amazon loses your shipment, and you have to go through a reimbursement process, and then you have to prove that you got all of those items, and you got to have your receipts. Otherwise, you're out that money. And those things can happen, and you got to be prepared. That's why your pictures are your insurance.
Carrie's another founding member. Thank you, Carrie. She said accessibility these guys provide alone is worth it. Thank you so much, Carrie. Appreciate that, man.
And speaking of that, we are about to jump into our Quick Start group, and we're going to go over some scans and take I told you in the course, there's the deep dive of the scan that you'll look back on. And you've been on us with over an hour now. Over an hour you've been here. So
30, maybe 40 minutes.
You might not jump straight over to the next one with us, and I understand that. But we'll be talking about. I'll probably go over some of the scans that I got for the $500 challenge, and that's what we're doing here in just a few minutes. We'll be deep diving into seller amp scans.
Okay.
So that's another thing that we do.
The kind of things that you get in there as far as the workshop goes, and you get further looks into how we're doing all this stuff that we're just talking about. There's so much information. You got to see how it's done too. Or some people do. Some people don't. They can hear it and just go repeat. But a lot of people are more hands-on. They're visual. They need to see something happening, and then it clicks. So
yeah. So when we did this, we did the course, we did the Facebook group, And it's like, okay, well, we wanted to provide value at the same time, and we shift gears a few times. And we're like, look, what can we do to provide the most value, but at the same time make it affordable and make it worth our time? And that's why we came back to the Quick Start Facebook group, and we're like, look, we're going to do weekly trainings in here to help you get going. We're going to do monthly, either a workshop or a challenge. And it's our first time to do a challenge. We still got to figure out how to put it together. But our goal with this is to help walk you through this thing, okay? And then, we put up a post where, hey, ask your questions and we'll answer at the end of the next week's training. And we just started doing that. It's kind of a quiet group, still a small group, but we do have a handful of action takers, people who are engaged. Cassie, Philip, Carrie, Sharon's fairly new. Sharon joined recently. She's been active in there, and so if you think it's worth it after your first 30 days, and $30 a month, we kind of figured that we think that's fair. And our goal is to help you. If you start with $300 and try to get to the level that you want to get to. $300, $500. We don't want you starting with more than that amount, because you got to determine if this is something you enjoy. Do you like it? Do you like the ins and outs of it? Do you want to do this business full time? We hope that you will. From that first board game that sold, I was clicked and listened to Cassie about the first thing that sold, right? And you're constantly checking your phone for those sales, right?
Oh, it's an addiction.
It's very addictive. And
but instead of jumping on your phone and looking at Candy Crush Saga, you're looking at, hey, there's money I just made.
That's a lot of pics of receipts, Carrie said. Jonathan, what's our longest receipt?
Our longest receipt? Oh, goodness. Let's see. It was probably about 12, 15, no, 20, close to 20 feet, probably. 20 feet.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, close to 20 feet. Because we had 8-foot folding tables, 2 next to each other, and it was hanging off the end by a few feet, So
yeah.
that's 16 foot a table plus whatever was hanging off.
But Kara, we use Dropbox, and so it doesn't take up any memory. Yeah, it's a monthly subscription, but we're able to do all of our folders. You got the Quick Start, you know what we use. So okay, well, guys. Man, yeah, we need to jump over to Quick Start. If you are in Quick Start, head on over there.
Thank you so much, Cassie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is
what
a
wonderful.
pleasure this has been.
You're doing wonderful, and you keep that going.
Okay.
This is our first time to actually talk. Listen, hear Cassie, and we were having technical difficulties in the beginning, but I could hear Cassie,
Yes.
she could hear us, and I'm like, she's from Texas.
Yes. What gave it away?
That's awesome. For whatever reason, I thought you're more up north or something, but
No.
oh goodness. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. I'll show the link to get over into Quick Start. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to join us. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
If you're busy, we understand that as well. All right.
All right.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll see you all next week.